Dear teachers, welcome you all. Myself Dr. Vimal Rar and I am the project head of this Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching of MHRD Government of India. Our team is working in the field of e-learning, e-content development, empowering the teachers in e-content development and other ICT tools which are required to become tech-savvy teachers from almost a decade. We have two centers, one is Teaching Learning Center, another is Center for e-learning, and at both of these centers we have state of art facilities including audio video recording studios. We have fully equipped hardware and software for providing audio video editing and other tools for enhancing the teaching, learning and assessment skills. With a staff of almost 60, we have academic zone, we have workshop zone, we have the technical staff where we keep on working in the area of e-learning, MOOCs and e-content development. At Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, as a part of faculty empowerment workshops, we keep on conducting trainings at various levels for teachers. And in this particular lecture, I will like to invite Professor A.K. Bakshi, who is Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Bahadurgarh, Haryana. He has been former Executive Director, Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius. He has been former Vice Chancellor, UP-RTOU, Allahabad, and he is recipient of various awards and honors, especially in the field of e-learning and e-transformation. He has got 2 times awards by President APJ Abdul Kalam, and it is my honor to request him to deliver a talk on e-learning and MOOCs in higher education. And this will be an introductory talk, and I am very sure that all of you will be able to know all the basics of e-learning and MOOCs, and which is very much important for becoming knowledgeable so that you can effectively contribute as teachers in the Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching.
Dear students, I welcome you all to this introductory talk on e-learning and MOOCs in higher education. You must have heard about these two terms. What is e-learning? What are MOOCs? And why they have become so important for our education system. As you will see, these two have the potential to change the face of higher education in the country. I will start from very basics and try to give you a complete introduction starting from ABC of e-learning and MOOCs. Now, the first question which will come to your mind is, what is e-learning? E-learning basically means electronic learning. Emphasis is still on learning. E is just a mechanism. So, one can say that e-learning is a learning through ICT, that means information and communication technology. You may ask a question, what do we mean by information and communication technology? Here you must remember that ICT is an umbrella term which encompasses all technologies that provide access to information. These include internet, wireless communications, satellite communications, cell phones, digital television, etc. E-learning is also known as digital learning or ICT enabled education. Now, I will very briefly tell you about the relationship between e-learning and static content. As you notice, e-learning is a general term. For learning, we need some content, and that content is developed by some experts. This content is developed in a structured way based on some curriculum. This content is called static content. You will all agree that ultimately the quality of static content will determine the quality of e-learning. So one has to be very careful that the content which is developed by experts is really of a very high quality. Once we have got the static content which is developed by experts, then this content is multimedia enriched, and this multimedia enrichment is done by technical team. The multimedia enrichment of the static content leads to e-content. So, e-content is nothing else but the multimedia enriched static content. Here you should remember that static content will include text, value additions, quizzes, graphics, images, etc. Whereas multimedia enrichment will include audios, videos, animations, simulations, etc. Now there may be a question in your mind as to what makes a good quality e-content. So please remember that good quality e-content will be that content which has all those features which make self-learning exciting and interesting. As a matter of fact, while developing e-content, it is ensured that this content has generally 4 features. But how do we do that? Just remember that suppose we have one semester paper. This semester paper, it has some syllabus. This syllabus is divided into 35 or 40 parts, and then for each part of the syllabus we develop content which is e-content. This is called one module. So in a semester paper, in general there will be 35 to 40 modules, and for each module the e-content which we develop, that will generally have 4 features. We call it 4 quadrant approach. One is e-text, which will include detailed text and lessons. That is one component of each module. Second is self-learn component, which will include video lectures having text, graphics, visuals and animations. And then the third component is self-assessment. This will have self-graded e-quizzes with feedback. You know, here it is very interesting that there will be interactivity on these, and if you attempt any quiz, if the answer is correct, it will tell you why it is correct, and if it is incorrect, it will also tell you why it is incorrect. Therefore, you can very well imagine that it will facilitate self-learning and self-assessment. And lastly, there is the fourth component or fourth quadrant, which is know more. This is very interesting because it includes amongst others suggested readings with web links and value additions. Because for every module there will be certain features like did you know, or interesting facts, or do yourself, etc. All this will come under know more section. So these 4 components will be there in each module. Now here we are showing you some of these 4 modules for one paper. The paper under consideration is the paper on quantum chemistry. This is for postgraduate level, and we are talking about the first module here. Now you can see here in the first module how the text looks like. This is the entire text. You can see it has text, it has got images, all those things are there. So this is the first component. And now you see here the self-learn component of the same module, which has the video lectures. You can see here, we can show you how these videos are shown for this first module. And Then we have self-assessment component. Here you can see that we have various quizzes. All these are shown here. Then we have some more questions like true and false, etc. So all those things which will help in self-learning and self-assessment. And lastly, you see for the same module, which is the introductory module of the quantum chemistry paper, we have no more section. Here you can see there are some suggested readings, then web links and some value additions. For example, here you can see timelines, how historically the development took place and how quantum chemistry or quantum mechanics came. So all those features are there in this no more section. Besides this, now what I have shown you is that 4-quadrant approach. This is, I gave you a glimpse of this 4 quadrants for module 1. So if there are about 35 to 40 modules, so all these will be there in all those 35 to 40 modules, and that whole will constitute the e-content of one paper. Similarly, we have developed e-content for many other papers, and some of the concepts which are very difficult to understand theoretically, with the help of videos, these can be understood very well. Here we are showing you some glimpses of those concepts through MOOCs.
It's scorching heat and a person is really thirsty. He is willing to pay a good amount to get thirst quenching one glass of water. This is because he is getting immense benefit from this one glass of water. From the second glass of water, the additional benefit he derives is a little less than the benefit from the first bottle. Hence, he is willing to pay a little less for the second one. The economist's term for this additional benefit is marginal benefit. And so he derives even a little less benefit from third glass and would pay even lesser. This explains the law of diminishing marginal utility.
Domestic business includes all the business transactions conducted within a border of a particular nation or a commercial entity. International business includes import-export, licensing, and franchising, as well as foreign investments. It helps nation to gain foreign currency, whereas while doing business domestically, firms earn domestic currency only. Both domestic and international business create employment opportunities. It also results in cross-border cooperation and agreements because of healthy political relations among nations.
Let us consider a sample of blood and find its blood type experimentally. A drop of the sample is taken on 3 glass slides. To these, add 1 drop of antiserum A to first slide, a drop of antiserum B to second slide, and lastly, a drop of antiserum D to the third slide, one by one. In this case, agglutination appears when antiserum B and antiserum D are added. Hence, the sample has the blood type B positive.
So now you have already learnt about what is e-learning, what do we mean by static content, and what is the relationship between static content and e-content. And that is, once static content is multimedia enriched, it becomes e-content. And we have also told you that what are the 4 components which are present in each module of a paper. After having learnt all that, now we come to the next term about which we talked in the beginning, and that is the MOOCs. How one can convert e-content into MOOCs. As I said, e-content for any paper has about 35 to 40 modules. This will include about 20 hours of video because each module will have about 20 minutes to 30 minutes of video content. Now, once this e-content is repurposed in a very structured manner for a 15-week program, then it becomes MOOCs. So, MOOC is normally covered in 15 weeks. So, entire 35 to 40 modules e-content is delivered in 15 weeks. So, one can say that MOOCs are structured e-content. The term MOOC was coined sometime in 2008 by Davy Corbier. This you should remember. So, it is not a very old thing, it is only about 9 to 10 years back that the term MOOC was coined. You may be also thinking that why this term MOOC, what does this MOOC mean? MOOC, if you look at this, M stands for massive. Massive means for any MOOC or for any course, there could be unlimited participation or enrollment. So, that is massive, the significance of massive. There could be 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 students enrolled in any course. O means open. No qualifications are required to enroll for any course until and unless you want to obtain the grades. For that, you must have the formal qualifications. Otherwise, anybody can enroll in this course. Age is no bar. So, that is the meaning of open. Online means this course is delivered online through web. And C is course. That means there will be one course for every one semester paper which we talk about. So, that is basically the meaning of the word MOOC. Let me tell you here that MOOCs are the biggest upcoming trend in the current education scenario, and they are going to prove to be a game changer in India in the context of education. If you look at the basic philosophy of MOOCs, it is 4 A's. 4 A's means anytime, anywhere, anyone, any number of times. So, anybody can enroll in this course sitting in any part of the country, even in the remotest village, one can enroll. Then no qualifications required. So, any time you can enroll in this course, and once you have enrolled, you can have a look at these programs or at these courses any number of times. So, you can see it offers immense flexibility to the learner. And then the biggest thing is one can decide one's own pace of learning. Whenever you get time, you can learn from the MOOC. So, this is something very, very important, because at present our education is limited to the classrooms. You have to go physically to the classroom and be present in the class. But once MOOCs come, it is as per your convenience. So, you can say that MOOCs will be like mini smart colleges. After having learned this, one will like to know as to what MOOCs can do for India. First thing which you must remember is that MOOCs will be an answer to the growing demand for enrollments in higher education. You know, in India, we have at present more than 750 universities, more than 40,000 colleges, around 1.5 million teachers, and around 34 million students. There has been a tremendous growth in higher education since independence, but still our gross enrollment ratio is only 24%. That means only 24% of the students are those in the age group of 17 to 23 are able to go for higher education. So, it is very less. India is a young nation. So, 76% people are deprived of higher education. One cannot keep on opening new universities or colleges because of a lot of money is involved. And then there is a problem of infrastructure and faculty also. So all these problems will be obviated through MOOCs. And once MOOCs are there, they will make world-class education available to the masses in India. Once MOOCs are written by the top experts, they are very well multimedia enriched, then anybody, anywhere in the country or even in the world can enroll in these MOOCs and learn. And for those who do not want to obtain grades, they will be able to realize their dream of lifelong learning because they can enroll in any MOOC. So I hope you will agree that MOOCs have the potential to change the face of higher education in the country. It is going to be a boon for the students and lifelong learners. Presently, if there is some student in any university, he can attend to the classes, but at the same time, if the student is enrolled in any MOOC, he or she can also learn from the MOOC. So it will help in a blended learning for them. It will also be useful for the teachers also. We have so many young teachers in our education system. They can also benefit a lot from these MOOCs because teachers are also, after all, learners. And all this is a great advantageous because it makes learning just a click away. And last but not the least, it will make education learner centric. Whenever the learner wants, he or she can learn from the MOOCs. So as you know that the present system of talk and chalk method is a teacher centric approach because it is the teacher who governs the entire class. And secondly, this method presumes that all students learn in an identical fashion. That may not be true. There may be some fast learners, but some slow learners as well. And then it is mainly a monologue method. It is slow and time consuming, and sometimes on boards you cannot explain many complex concepts, especially in chemistry, in the context of stereochemistry, where one needs to visualize three-dimensional molecules, etc. One cannot appreciate if these are drawn on blackboard. So that is another limitation of the talk and chalk method. And last but not the least, due to the paucity of time, because every teacher has ultimately to finish the course. Therefore, they cannot solve many problems in the class. And through problem solving, one learns a lot. But then there is a limitation, and that is due to the paucity of time, you cannot do all this. So, MOOCs will overcome the limitations of talk and chalk method because here technology is going to play a very, very important role. Please remember that technology has always been a great enabler. Technology makes lives easier and convenient. Then why not our education also? So that is the spirit in which one should view the development of e-learning and MOOCs. If you look at e-learning and MOOCs in the context of Indian universities, you can see that in the conventional universities, these can be used for credit transfer. Then for students, it could also help in blended learning, and those which are doing some on correspondence courses, which we used to earlier call, and open learning, what is called, it could be a supplementary course material for them also. Then India may be soon having virtual universities because many countries already have virtual universities, and then these will offer everything online. So online degrees will become very common. And then we have many open universities in the countries. There, most of the time we send printed study material to the students. Even in the conventional universities also, there are schools of open learning. So in all of them, these MOOCs can provide a better alternative to the printed self study material. In India, development MOOCs has been taking place for the last few years. There have been many national coordinators who have been involved in the development of MOOCs. For example, NPTEL, which is a group of 7 IITs and Indian Institute of Science, they are involved in the development of MOOCs for engineering subjects. UGC is the national coordinator for non-technical 77 postgraduate disciplines. So our EPG Pathshala project, on which we have been working, we have been given the mandate to develop MOOCs and e-content for 6 subjects that comes under UGC. Then CEC, Consortium for Education Communication, it is developing e-content and MOOCs for 87 disciplines of undergraduate level. IGNOU has been given the responsibility for diploma and certificate courses. CBSE, NCRT and National Institute of Open Schooling has been given the responsibility for MOOCs for 9th to 10th standards. Below 9th class, MOOCs are generally not recommended because the students are very young and they need the help of the teachers at every stage in their process of learning. Then IIM Bangalore has been given the mandate for developing MOOCs in the subject of management, and NTTR Chennai for teacher training programs, they are developing the MOOCs. So all these MOOCs which are now in the process of being developed by various national coordinators, they will be ultimately hosted on a portal, and that portal of the MHRD is called Swayam. It's an acronym for Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. And this is the corresponding link, www.swayam.gov.in. You can go to this site and see the various MOOCs which are already ready, and you can very conveniently enroll in those programs. If I may say in very simple language for you to understand, Swayam is for MOOCs what ATM is for money. So that is basically what it will be. Maybe once all these MOOCs are ready, any MOOC you want to learn, you can enroll and you can get it from Swayam portal, just as you can get money or cash from ATM. Let me tell you very briefly about our Center for eLearning. In this center, we have been developing MOOCs and e-content for 6 disciplines under EPG Pathshala project. These disciplines are chemistry, commerce, economics, psychology, forensic science and business economics. These are postgraduate level programs, and for each postgraduate subject, we have 16 papers in 2 years. So in all, we are developing MOOCs for 96 papers. And please remember that once MOOCs are developed, as I said it earlier, a MOOC will be delivered in 15 weeks, out of which 13 weeks will be self-learning weeks and 2 weeks will be revision and assessment weeks. As you can see on the extreme right side, first week 1 to 7, they will be self-learning weeks. So there will be, out of those 35 to 40 modules, some modules will come here in the beginning, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 in each week. So first 7 weeks there will be self-learning weeks, then week 8 will be a revision and assessment week, and then week 9 to 14 will be the remaining weeks. All these will be arranged in a very systematic and logical manner, and they will be delivered to the students in 14 weeks, and then 15th week will be again a revision and assessment week, and after that there will be a proctored examination for all those learners who want to obtain grades. At our Center for eLearning, we have been involved for the last almost more than 3 years. It has been a tremendous team effort We have about 1,000 academicians across the country involved in our this endeavor, and besides that, we have about 40 academic and technical staff members who constitute our team as full-time employees. After having said all that, you have now completely understood that static content is the beginning and end is in the MOOC. For all this, ultimately, the real quality factor is how good is the content. So, these are some of the challenges which I would now like to share with you, that any MOOC should be of really high quality, authenticity and interactivity. These are some of the features which are very important and they need to be part of any MOOC. Then while developing MOOC, there needs to be a proper coordination between academic and technical teams. Academic team develops content and technical team does the multimedia enrichment. There needs to be a proper coordination because technical team will not be knowing the subject. So what is in the mind of experts, they need to share with the technical team and then do the appropriate enrichment. And then all these MOOCs, there is a challenge for all of us in the country to develop them in a time bound manner because knowledge is growing very, very fast. It should not happen that it takes many years to develop, and by the time it is developed, it becomes irrelevant because courses may change or other things may change. And then it's also a challenge that in the development of MOOCs, we do the multilingual conversion so that we are able to have MOOCs in various languages so that anybody or everybody in the country can have access and benefit from them. If MOOCs have to be really of high quality, this self-learning material should be really very good. Modules need to be arranged in a very systematic and logical manner. Language should be simple so that even the weak student can understand. There should be clarity of expression, and then any person who develops static content in the beginning, he or she should write it in such a way that the content is able to come down to the level of the weak students and take them along. So these are all big challenges while developing MOOCs. I'm very sure you know that once MOOCs become popular, people will start opting for them rather than for classroom teaching because of the tremendous advantages these offer. They help in self-learning, they help in self-assessment and enrichment. And you know, it also helps in the empowerment of our teachers. Teachers should not think that MOOCs will be replacing them. No, even teachers also get empowered and they also stand enriched by the MOOCs developed by top experts in the country. And you know, once the MOOCs are there and then these are implemented, it cannot be implemented without the help of our teachers. You teachers have to play a very important role. Your role will change, but without you, MOOCs cannot be successful. So, we will also be discussing with you later on what will be the new roles of teachers in the changed scenario, because now we are slowly approaching technology driven higher education, and in this technology driven higher education the roles of the teachers will change. We need to, you know, for any teacher, please remember one thing, that for any teacher, of course, domain knowledge or subject knowledge is very important. But besides that, he or she should have pedagogical skills, how to introduce the topic, etc., communication skills, and then in the modern age, in the 21st century, he should also be conversant with ICT skills. Because once they have ICT skills, they will be able to help in the implementation of MOOCs. You know, students these days are well conversant with technology. They have grown with technology, they have grown with internet, they know that all these things are so convenient. So all these MOOCs will be in tune with the mindset of the present day students. But our teachers also need to be prepared, and that is why we also conduct various workshops to prepare our teachers, to empower our teachers in ICT skills. However, in the assessment of MOOCs, there are some problems which are being discussed, which are being probed as to how we can solve those, take care of those problems. One could be the problem of assessment. One impersonation is quite common, so how to take care of that. Then how to assess system of learners independent work, whether the person has worked independently or with the help of somebody, how to take care of that. And then if many students have enrolled in these programs, how to manage them. This is also another challenge. But please remember that MOOCs have the potential to make a better and stronger India in the field of education. Now, lastly, let me tell you very briefly that if we want the success of e-learning and MOOCs in India, we need these prerequisites. First is, as you can see, infrastructure and connectivity, because anybody can enroll in these programs, but he should have laptop or mobile smartphone and good internet speed. So all these are very important. Without that, nothing can be achieved. Then we need high quality content, because this content, once it is made e-content and then repurposing of this content into MOOCs, both these things we are doing at Delhi University through the Center for E-Learning at SGTB Khalsa College. Then lastly, we need training of the teachers, empowerment of the teachers in ICT skills. And for that, we have got Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. It is a center of the MHRD, and here we conduct various basic and advanced level workshops, ultimately to empower our teachers. Although we have the mandate for chemistry, commerce and economics subjects, but awareness programs we are doing for the entire country, telling them what are e-learning, what is MOOCs, all those things, so that people know how the future of higher education is going to be. So I now conclude my talk by saying that e-learning and MOOCs are going to be a game changer in the context of higher education in the country. In this 21st century, we have to ensure that our teachers are well equipped to contribute significantly, not only in the development of MOOCs, but also in the execution of the MOOCs. I am sure all of you will actively participate in whatsoever activities we have been doing and become tech savvy teachers, so that you can do justice to the technology driven higher education scenario in future. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you.